Welcome back to Phone Phenom, every Tuesday, 4 o'clock Central Standard Time. Welcome to and happy AEP season. It's officially October 15th, which is why today we're going to talk about some specific tips for calling Medicare leads. Okay, so I actually feel like that calling a Medicare lead is different than calling a final expense lead. Now, there's some similarities from a tip standpoint and from a calling standpoint. That's one of the things I want to talk through today. If you saw my recent video of how I was actually calling Medicare leads live on video, we didn't edit the video at all, right, Dylan? I mean, I think it was from start to finish, like the exact same. We didn't change anything. You got to hear everything I said, the great things I said, the bad things I said. I even felt like transparently, I even felt like I could tell I hadn't called leads in a few months since before 8%. I was probably, I mean, it's been months really. I even felt a little rusty. But even saying that, this was the easiest dial session I've probably ever had. I mean, I only made 7 dials, and I still spent like 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, because I was on the phone with one person for far too long. But I felt bad. She was gonna, she had lost her husband. She was gonna put down her dog the next day. Like, I'm still a person, right? And so 7 dials, spoke to 5, which is really high. I mean, if you do the math, that's 70. It's like 70, 80%. So 71%. Oh, answer rate, which is strong. Okay, spoke to 5. Out of those 5, I set 3 appointments. 1. I realized I should actually call back and set, so I had the agent do that. Hopefully they did, because even though she was on TRICARE, I guess it was still an option. I don't know. I'm not a Medicare genius by any means as far as the ins and outs of it. Also, 1 said to call back in 30 minutes, so maybe I could have got that one too. So I could have seen, and 2 didn't even answer. So I actually, it's weird as it sounds, I actually saw the ability for every lead that I called, if I was able to door knock, follow up with some additional calls, text, email, etc., I almost see every single lead possibly being a good conversation or a sit. Which, if you're working leads and you're trying to talk to people about Medicare, you can't really ask for anything more. If you think about it, it's as good as it gets. So I'm a firm believer that our Medicare leads are incredibly strong. If you want to have Medicare leads to work for annual enrollment period, AEP, then we're a good place to try, especially at secure agent leads. So especially if you want to try like a bulk order for you and your team, or you want to try a bunch, for the Medicare Advantage season. So we would love for you to do that. Now, going back to calls real quick, I've also felt like I don't normally ever say, "How are you?" I even added that to these calls for a couple reasons. Number one, because a lot of you probably saw like, well, he never says that. Why did he say that? Well, I'm going to diagnose it a little bit, because there was a couple reasons, a couple small reasons. One, I feel like the calls is Medicare, so I feel like the call was so easy that it didn't matter. I could have said, "You're probably not interested, are you?" And I probably would have still got an appointment. I mean, the leads set themselves. They were borderline too easy that people actually probably thought the calls were fake. Okay, I'm gonna keep it real. That's reason number 1. Reason number 2, I feel like Medicare is a little more relational, and that people will open up and talk a little bit more in regards to the Medicare. So I was okay to bridging the gap, starting an open flow of conversation, getting them talking, getting them sharing, and focused on building a good relationship with them, because I want to review their Medicare. And so I felt like I don't normally say that, but with that call I did, And even on another call during these calls, and so that's why I'm psychologically breaking these down. Even on another call, I had someone that said, "Hey, I'm busy," or I'm out of town, or whatever. Like, and I just went into like asking a question that was unrelated to what they were talking about, because I wanted to psychologically shift them from what they were thinking about to something else. So I don't know if you guys ever think like that when you're on the phone, but I do. And when I did, I'm like, perfect. Well, who do you currently have for your Medicare? Or what's concerning with your Medicare, right? Why did you reach out? And so by doing those things, occasionally, you can see it end up helping your case to take them off of what they're thinking about and keep them on the straight and narrow of here is the point or the purpose. So I just feel like when you're calling Medicare Leads, it's a little more relational. It's okay to get them talking. It's going to be a little longer call sometimes. But I feel like if you can't set at least half of the leads that you get from our Medicare Leads, you know, especially after you're able to actually work them multiple times. That was the first time I ever called any of those leads, especially if you're able to call them the appropriate amount 5-6 times that when they don't answer, and actually text and actually email, you know, and end up door knocking, because it's general Medicare. You can door knock MedSup, so why can't you door knock general Medicare? You should set half, you know, because I think I would have probably I think I actually could have actually sat down or had meaningful conversations with probably 5 or 6 out of 7, which is insane. Okay, so those are a couple things I also noticed from a tips standpoint. Okay, I also noticed that when I was calling these, I still kept the same structure. Okay, Betty. I didn't say, "Are you Betty? Is this Betty?" Betty. This is Cody. Kept it really simple. Hey, I'm getting back to you about your request for the new Medicare information. That was recently. I'm assuming that you remember doing that, correct? Because some agents are like, well, I don't have favorite color. I don't have a security word. I don't have a favorite hobby, or you know, I don't know what to ask them. It's like to get engagement, because I like to know it's them. Say my name. I'm getting back to you phrase. Then ask a question for engagement. So that's the question. If you don't have a color, come up with a question, which is, hey, that was recently. I'm assuming that you remember doing that, correct? Yes, I do. Excellent. Well, I'm the local field underwriter. I'll be in your area on Friday. Is morning or afternoon better for you? It's that script that I'm saying and reciting right now is the easiest script you could ever read. Anyone can have success. Anyone can set appointments. Anyone can set probably half of the leads that they get, and probably end up talking to probably 3/4 of the lead, 80% of them, maybe more, maybe higher, maybe 90% on some orders. And I've still got the rest of that batch that I'll probably call a few weeks too late, and I'll still get appointments. It's that simple. So that's one of the things I want to jump on and talk about today is as far as tips and working leads and what to do and what to say, etc. It's not complicated, but you need a script to follow. You need to realize that it's okay to get them to talk. It's more relational. It's Medicare. I even think for Medicare, it's okay for how are you? Final expense, I just kind of want to get into it. I really don't want to ask that. But for Medicare, I kind of learned that, hey, it's okay to do, right? So, Dylan, any questions related to this yet?
Let me see.
I know we haven't been rolling that long, and we're probably going to be a pretty brief episode. I'm on YouTube, and we got several watching. Thanks for the viewers, but no specific questions yet. Same for Facebook? Okay, cool. Perfect. I was driving in this morning, and I was thinking about, all right, it's AEP. I almost shot a video in my car. I probably should have. I forgot. That's just how my brain works. If I don't do it immediately, it's vanished. And I thought, you know what? It's AEP. And so I want to challenge Medicare agents right now. I want to challenge you to think outside the box. Take some risk. Do some big things. And make this the best AEP you've ever had. Okay? So I hope it is. I want to challenge you with that. And I want to jump on and give you a few tips on calling Medicare Leads. Because if you don't have Medicare Leads and you need some, call our office, 833-40-AGENT. That's 833-402-4368. I'd love for you to call. Try out our Medicare Leads. They're unbelievable. They're super simple. They're general Medicare Leads. They're great for AEP. If you don't make money, you definitely didn't try. That's how easy they are. Because I just tried them and they worked very easily. So that's it. Have a great AEP. Awesome week. If you ever get a chance to call Medicare Leads, use some of these tips, and I promise it'll work. Okay? So thanks for watching Phone Phenom. Have a great week. Appreciate you guys.